about is using our lower body to generate a little bit of momentum to get this bar up over our head, right? Full locked out position. So let's talk about bottom up. Foot position, remember the nice pressing stance. I want to have my hip, my knee, and my ankle all in a nice straight line, right? Bone over bone. Second way we can think about where to put our feet, if I think about the center of my butt cheek, line up your heel with the bottom of your butt cheek, right? Center of the butt cheek. It'll give us a nice solid base to press off of. Hand position, for me, a thumb distance outside of the hips. Theoretically, what that will do is when we come into this front racked position, is that will put your hands just outside of your shoulders. When we think about the elbows, right, we want the elbows just slightly in front of the bar. What we want to avoid is this big, high, extreme elbow. Two reasons we want to avoid that. One, if I've got a big, high elbow and I start to press from there, I'm basically going to do a huge tricep push-out. Second reason we want to avoid that is I might end up just dropping that elbow into that original position to press up overhead anyway, so let's just start there. What we want to think about when we do that push press, we know we're going to take this barbell up over our head, is what happens with this dip and drive. What I want to think about is my shoulder and my hip staying in a nice straight line. This is where most people lose it, right? Typically what happens is that chest comes forward, the butt goes back, and now you can see, just based on this bar, part of me is in front, part of me is in back, right? We want to have a nice solid line. Two ways that we can use the knee bend. One, we're going to put the weight in the heel by letting those knees come forward, keeping that hip and that shoulder in a nice straight line. The second one we want to think about, again, is still going to have that weight in the heel, but I'm thinking about pushing the knees out, right? So we're going to splay the knee out versus letting the knee come forward. Totally up to you, whatever allows you to stay in the better position. What we need to think about is as soon as we hit that bottom position, I need to get out of it as fast as possible. What we want to avoid is this big dip, pause, and then go. If you do that, you've just made the lift a ton harder. What I like to think about is the whip of the bar. So if you've ever watched an Olympic lifting meet where they have like 1,000 pounds on the bar, you can see that huge bend down and the huge bend up. That's what's going to happen regardless if you're using a 15-pound training bar or a 1,000-pound bar, is you're getting that whip of the bar. So we want to take advantage of that. So when it whips down, I got to get up with that whip. So we want to get in and out as fast as possible. Right? We call that the dip and drive. So we're going to dip and drive. You should be able to hear that little barbell clink because you're generating a ton of power. Those are the basics on the push press.